Preparing the live stream. We're live again.
All right, hang on. Got it.
Got it. Good. I'm not going to drop any nasty words, but geez, I feel like it.
It's all right. It's hasn't come back up on YouTube yet. Oh well, it is showing live here. Just waiting a second. It's all right. I padded poorly for a few seconds.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all good again.
Okay, hang on a second. I'll just refresh. We are live. Recap take 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome down to episode 65.2 of the Down South Photo Show. Our live show went a little bit haywire. Don't know what happened down in Tasmania, but it cut us out completely and then dumped me from the feed entirely. So
yeah, and here I am hanging shit on Adelaide being not open at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And the comments are already coming thick and fast. So we've got not paid your internet bill, Cam. You're back. Susie's here. So hopefully those of you that were listening and watching before can jump back on. So
I actually can't see the chat either where I am. So yes, I can. There we go.
There we go. See, things are happening.
Take 2. No, I didn't pay my phone bill or my internet bill. I don't know what happened. I think the power went off because everything just went bang. I went right. Yeah. Okay. Well, fun and games.
It was quite funny because my wife, she's been giving me a running commentary on what's been going on.
All right. Well, yeah. Welcome back, Sal. This is the professionalism that we run in the Down South Photo Show. So yeah, you talk amongst yourselves while I just get myself reset up again. But I think we're talking about your background, and we got that sorted. And then I don't know where we were after that. It all went tits up after that.
Yep. Well, I think we were. There was a couple of questions about asking whether we can dial up a sunset like this during the workshop that we're running.
Oh, yes. Few weeks. Well, that's a given, really, isn't it? Really.
Absolutely. I've got a direct line, so we're fine.
Really?
No, I can whatever weather you want. I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're good at predicting the weather 3 weeks out, aren't we, Cam?
We are pretty good, I think. Yes. Yes. Funnily enough, I did answer that one. And
Ashu's is in the house. Did I tell you that? He's
I saw him rock up. Yeah.
I don't know whether he's come back since we dropped out, but anyway, we'll see what happens there.
Well, to be honest, I thought if Ash is on, then there's a fair chance he's going to try and take over the whole show. So that's
maybe it was him.
He's pulled the plug on me.
He's hacked you, and he's trying to muscle his way into the Down South Photo Show hot seat again.
Well, I wouldn't put it past him.
Phil says he has a few tin cans and some string.
Yeah, that'll help. It's really weird. This is a great topic, but my main Mac, which I've got here, has been playing up a lot in the last month. It crashed earlier in the year. I think we spoke about that. I lost
That's what you get for using a Mac.
Well, I'm not happy with it at all, and it's just taking so long to load up. And then for some reason tonight, it was just really being a bit temperamental. So
yes, yeah. It's probably also what you get for hanging shit on people being lost in Adelaide.
Yeah, I'm getting shit now. Technology is applied for live stream by OM Systems. Jeff, I'm not the only one that's lost, says Jeff.
No, Dave, I'm with you there. I think no, it's good.
It's all good. Is it past PG? Is it past PG rating time? Can I start telling people what I think?
No, you cannot, and we do not want to be censored out of all existence. So, welcome back to the live show. We're back up and running. So we've talked about if people saw it, we talked about our backgrounds before. I want to talk about what you've been doing over the last couple of weeks, Cam, since our last episode, which I believe was a week out from Christmas. Yeah. So you've now had roughly 10, 11 days since we last talked on the show.
Yeah.
Can you sum up in 2 words or less what you've been doing for the last 10 days?
I could sum it up.
Other than doing great Aurora photos.
I could sum it up in an abbreviation, probably.
Okay.
Sweet FA.
Yes, I would have thought so.
No, actually, I have been working relatively hard. I've been getting all these OM days for Melbourne already. Sent out an email to all the guests coming to our workshops and the OM day workshops, which you didn't do, mind you. You told me to do that because you were too busy, apparently. Yes,
correct. Thank you.
So I've been doing a little bit, and obviously went out and took some Aurora photos and stuff like that. But I've actually been playing with a new camera I got. Do you believe?
Would you stop it already?
Yeah. We'll talk about it as we go down a bit further. But I swapped over a system.
Ooh, okay. This is something. This is the little teaser for we're going to talk about later in the ep.
That's right. As long as the internet's see, I don't think it's the internet. This computer's working fine. I think it's the actual computer that's actually
Oh, so you're now on a PC or something?
No, I'm now on a MacBook Pro laptop.
Oh, I thought you looked a little different.
Yeah, I'm sort of looking. I need to be looking down at the thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's
so
you look great, Cam.
I have been prepping for that, but I haven't been doing much. I mean, I must admit, the last 3 days I practically got out of bed just after lunchtime watching the cricket.
Attaboy.
So that was good. So yeah, I haven't been doing much, but making a mess, cleaning up, doing stuff.
Mate, you've been having quality family time, and that's cannot be underestimated at all.
No, the kids have been behaving really well.
They're not watching.
They're not watching. They're a bit quieter upstairs now. So,
nice.
But yeah, no, it's been good. It's good to relax, and you're the same. You'll be hanging for the end of this year, and
yeah. So we Christmas Day aside, I've worked pretty much every day, which is great because I'm in a tourist town and I'm in retail, and that's what we do. Funny story, about 2 days before Christmas, we ran out of 35mm film, and so did every other outlet in Australia. So there ain't no film in Australia, colour 35mm film in Australia at the moment.
Can you imagine that happening in 1995 or 1990, where we run out of film? Hey, Sal.
Well, yeah, she just stuck a nose in this. Did she?
No, I didn't. I just saw you turn around. So
no, because she came in, she said, "What happened to the feed?" I was like, "No, we're good now, Noel."
Yeah, can you imagine? Film running out in like 20 years ago, day and age?
But I mean, I don't sell a heap of film, but it's funny because I feel like the pub with no beer. People see, camera and photo, yeah, cool. I'll go and grab some film.
Yeah.
No, I won't.
Of course they've got film. Like, it's 2022. Why would they not have film?
It's actually ludicrous that we don't have any film stock at all. And there's a few bit of politics going on with it as well. So it's a little bit annoying. A local distributor who shall remain nameless decided to basically sell all their film to Woolworths, of all people. So yes, Woolworths. So you could go into the supermarket and buy 3 packs of Kodak Gold 400 film. Can you believe that?
You can't buy shit rag, but you can go buy film.
This is right.
How does that work?
Yeah, right. But now they've sold out too. So all Woolworths are now. So don't go to your local Woolworths looking for film, because there ain't none.
Who I want to figure out who the local supplier is. Is it Kodak?
No, I won't. I won't throw them under the bus like that. But it's certainly not Kodak Australia. But
no, because they're not around anymore, are they?
Correct. They don't exist anymore. So yeah. Anyway, it was a bit annoying. Bit of politics being played there. So us little mums and dads stores have to bow to the might and power of the big chain store. But that's what happens. I know where they're going to get it processed, and it's not Woolworths, because guess what? They don't process film. No,
and if they did, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give a shout out again. This is not a good shout out, and Les just said Cam's teeing off. I am going to tee off right now, right?
Oh, here we go. Get ready, people.
Harvey Norman can kiss my ass.
Okay.
I had one.
We're live, right? I can't bleep that.
No, Jerry Harvey. If Jerry Harvey's watching, he can go somewhere else.
Okay.
So I went to Harvey Norman to get a HDMI cable. So not a big deal. Just a HDMI cable, whatever it might be, for my TV down here that I'm trying to hook up. And I went in there and I bought one. And again, this is a technology thing, so people are probably going to think it's me and not them. But I brought the cable home and it didn't work. It just literally did not work. So I took it back the next day, and having you work in a retail industry, I've worked in retail before, and I walked into there was 2 guys at the desk where I bought the cable from, and I said, "Hey guys, bought this cable last night from you. Just doesn't work." And I did trial and error. I used an Xbox, a TV, a laptop, and I used my old HDMI cable and this one. The old one worked, the new one just didn't work at all. And the first thing they said to me was, "Well, you must be doing something wrong." And I went, "No, I'm not doing something. I've just explained to you that I'm not doing that." And I was being very polite, which is unusual for me. I'm usually pretty blunt when it comes to things like that. And this guy just kept saying, "Oh, it must be you. It can't be the cable. It can't be the cable." I'm like, "It's 100% the cable, dude. I've tried it. I've trialed and errored it through 5 different things, and it doesn't work." And he's like, well, yeah, no, I don't think it would be the cable. And I said, well, how about this, smartass? I said, how about you unplug the TV behind you on your big screen thing there and use this HDMI cable and plug it into something and see if it works.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden his attitude changed. They're like, oh, well, we don't need to do that. I'm like, well, you don't need to sit here questioning me about a HDMI cable. I said, right. I've tested it. I've given you good reason. I said, I don't want a refund. I just want to swap it for one that works. And it was like I was asking him to, dig up
his arm off,
dig up his dead grandmother or something like that. He was so disgusted in the fact that he had to go down to the register and just swap a cable over. So Harvey Norman, pick your shit up with customer service. They've always been bad. Not only do you don't sell good products at a good price, you rip everyone off, and you don't print stuff very well. You've also got some staff, not all, just some, that are just not designed to be working in retail. So get people that want to work in retail, not people who just want to be smarty pants and trying to make people, So and as Jess is just saying, how do you incorrectly use a HDMI cable? That's right. It's two plugs. You can't do anything wrong with it.
That's right.
It was a faulty cable. And
you were trying to hook your toaster up to your TV,
yeah,
right?
That's right. I was trying to hook my toaster up, and it just didn't work. So, but this guy was just so rude. I'm like, dude, just give me a little bit of credit. I'm not a complete moron. But he was just hell bent on making it as hard as possible as I could be, just to do a 5-second swap over. So
no, it's not right. They need to. Hey, the customer's always right?
Apparently not,
except when they're wrong.
Yeah. And Les says every department is just a franchisee. Yeah, I understand. Lisa's family used to work in Harvey Norman, and I experienced some of these things firsthand, and it's just like, no, it's not good, not cool.
Right.
There's my rant. I'm teeing off.
Nice, good rant over.
Yeah, Jerry Harvey has left the chat.
yeah. Sorry, GH. Never mind. Better luck next time. Now, if you didn't hear earlier, we're looking for anyone who hasn't already subscribed to the Down South Photo Show to hit the subscribe button, because we need you to, because we want to see if it happens live. So I don't know where we're at with subscribers, but we probably shouldn't tempt fate.
I was going to say I wouldn't do that now, because we might crash the whole live stream again.
Well, this is true. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So I thought also what we'd do tonight, being our last show, Happy New Year, everyone, even though I'm going to say it next week when we have an actual episode. But here's cheers to the year, and the year that was, and the year that will be, and here's to all your health and everything like that as well.
100%.
I would like to ask you a question, Cameron.
Am I going to go off on a rant again?
No, it's not a Dear Cam either. Now, we haven't discussed this already, but I would like to ask you what your favorite Down South Photo Show episode was for 2022.
It's got to be the rant about back button focusing.
That was up there, and oddly enough, probably one of our highest rating episodes as well. Which was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that'd be my favorite.
Yeah. No, that certainly went down quite well with our viewing audience as well, and listeners. I still can't go past the Ben Horn interview.
Was that this year, was it?
I believe so. And I've watched it back.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah, a couple of times. And there's a couple of reasons. One, his voice is mesmerizing.
Yes.
He's got the best voice for podcasting and broadcasting. Two, I think I love the fact that we got the inside line from him on how he goes about his processes.
Yeah.
If you watch his YouTube videos, they are so good, and they follow a very similar path all the time, but I like that. There ain't no clickbait, there's no look at me shouty, it's great. It's ad free. He relies on sponsorship, which is like through Patreon and things like that, which is very, very cool. Which we might rely on at some point just to keep this thing going. No, I'm joking.
It costs a fortune to run this thing.
It does. It keeps crashing all the time too.
Yeah, that's why we can't afford to have internet, because no one's paying us a royalty.
Once this goes up and stays up on our if it stays there, I'll link below both Cam's back button focusing rant and also the Ben Horn interview. The Ben Horn interview was also one of our highest rated episodes as well, which was great.
Yeah, it was.
But he's just not re-released, but he's just been back to Zion again.
He has.
And I was watching it the other night with my wife, and I said, just watch this with me and see what you think. And she's not a photographer, and she's not, but she was into it. She was like, this guy's got a really good style. And then she was like, are you telling me he just spent the whole day in the national park and got 2 photos?
Yeah.
It's like, that's how he rolls.
He's very old school. which I think resonates with people a lot more these days, because he is old school and he does use film and large format film and does an amazing job of it. And like you said, his videos, I've been watching the Zion ones, and I'm now looking at going to Zion next year. I'm thinking, I would love to go and see that place. And if someone's video can do that for you, as I'd like to think that some of my images and your images, for our respective places where we live, might want people to go there.
Well, had you ever heard of Zion before you heard of Ben Horn?
Not much. No,
not me at all. I'd never heard the name before.
Yeah, I think I might have heard of it once or twice, maybe, but not as one of those places you want to go visit. But it looks like it's an incredible place. So that was a great episode, and like you said, and even what I liked the best about that episode is probably the bits that the guys he didn't see. Was just before and after when we were chatting to him. He what you see is what you get with Ben. Like there wasn't
100%.
There didn't seem to be
completely genuine.
Yeah. And I also love the bit where he referred to the cricket player being the Ben Horn, and I think he might have even taken the piss out of you because we didn't actually know which team he played for. And
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So like that was a great episode. And the back button focus rant that seemed to rubber people a long way. Phil McCullum's asked us to explain back button focusing, and that's a hard no from me.
Must we? That's right. You're gonna have to go and watch the episode, Phil. So as I say, we'll try and link that somewhere at some point.
It'll be there somewhere.
Just a little bit earlier, I'm just going to, my goodness, thanks for all the comments, guys. They're coming thick and fast. Love it. Ash Hughes asked, what's a roll of film worth and how much does a roll of film cost to get printed at Camera and Photo? Well, to answer that.
He's doing paid plugs now.
Yeah. So it depends on how you buy it. If you buy it in like a triple pack, obviously it's slightly cheaper. But at the moment, because it's so scarce, it's averaging around $20 a roll, whether it's a roll of 24 or a roll of 36, they generally work out around the same. And now so when we process film now, we give people the option whether they want to print it or whether they just want us to, ironically, send us the Dropbox link with their files. So it's still film, shot on film, yes, but it is then scanned, digitized, and sent via email. Now, I like this, and the reason I like this is because we're not printing photos that are just going to go in the bin. So it does cut down on waste. So to have a roll of film processed, to answer your question, Ash, is $25. That includes me sending it to you via Dropbox. If you want a set of prints, it's an extra $5. So, a roll of film and processing is now breaking through the $50 bracket, which is pretty incredible when you consider that's 24 exposures.
The roll of film used to be like $12, and then it used to be about the same to process it. I can't remember.
Literally, I'd say it's doubled in the last 20 years. I guess it's doubled for the cost of film and processing. But it blows my mind how many kids want to use it, particularly sort of late teenagers who are just into their film.
The hipsters.
I'm going to repeat something that's really important to me, and that is we do not and will not ever again sell disposable cameras at Camera and Photo. I hate the bloody things. I am so over extracting a roll of film from a camera and then having to throw it in the bin. It's awful.
Right.
So single-use plastics, no thanks. We do not sell disposable cameras. We do sell reusable cameras, which, yes, are made from plastic. However, you can reload film into them a lot of times. So it just means instead of throwing out a plastic casing every time you want to take photos, you can reload it with film and keep going. So disposable cameras, bow from me.
Yeah, and that's a decision. That's a good decision because it's an environmental decision, which is great.
Yeah.
So someone was saying there in the chat there as well that they took their daughter's film to TEDS and it took 4 weeks. That's almost Harvey Norman level.
We hover between 3 days and 7 days. I don't process film in-house. We do have a company in Geelong called the Analog Academy that take care of our film for us. Shout out to those guys. They do a wonderful job. It's a great service where I can drop off film and they bring it back out to OG normally the next day, which is pretty cool.
That's cool. Big shout out to Oscar as well, Oscar Merchant, who's watching, or he might not be watching anymore. I might have dumped him.
Is this the Oscar that you took under your wing?
This is the Oscar. This is the next, Peter Dombrovskis maybe of Tasmania.
Maybe the next Cam Blake.
I don't think he's going to get to that low level. But he's doing some fantastic work, and another young bloke who just loves his photography, and I think it's great. It's so cool to see, and I do believe Santa Claus might have brought him a new tripod for Christmas. So
fantastic.
So he's doing pretty well. So g'day to him, and films are unreal. Like, I still think people should try it out. You know, even if it is just go buy one of those reusable cameras that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But do they have a wind on? They got the
yeah.
Not a lever.
No, they have a little windy thing. So the reusable cameras we sell are basically the same design as a disposable camera, but you can refill them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Or just get yourself one of these.
Yeah. Or one of these, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, hello. Look out.
Oh, hello.
I see your camera and raise you.
Yes.
You gave me this one.
I did. That was this year too. It's interesting that it's come back. I think it was this year. So
yeah. They all meld into one.
I've been a little bit distracted as we're talking because I'm moving everything that I had on my other computer for this episode onto this computer. So I am multitasking.
You're doing a stellar job, mate. Stellar job.
Thank God we have the best host.
Are we in any position at all to start showing photos, or should we go to another topic?
No, look, that is exactly what I've been trying to do.
Attaboy.
And I think we are good to go. So if you want to, we can start. Do you want to give us a bit of a lead up to this as to what we're going to do?
Yeah, for sure. So not like we normally do on the live shows, Cam and I like to pop up a photo that we have taken. We've chosen specifically photos that we've taken this year, which sort of, to keep it relevant. And we're going to tell you a quick backstory about it. We want comments. We love comments, good, bad, or otherwise. There's no modesty here. We want you to be dead honest, whether you like a photo or whether you don't like a photo, or why you don't like a photo or why you do like a photo. So,
well, I'm going to share it. I'm hoping that you can still see the chat.
Okay, hang on a sec. I can very much still see the chat. Yes, and
so I'm sharing. Can you still see the chat?
I can still see the chat. Yes, and I can see the photo on the screen. The folks will now see a lovely photo of a. That's one of mine. Lovely. I like it.
We can start with yours, Brendan.
Yeah, we shall. I'm just going to wait a sec just to make sure it appears fine on the YouTube. Here it comes, and it's all looking. Yes, it's up. Good, great. Sorry, there's going to be a slight delay. So this was my trip earlier this year down to the magnificent Port Fairy. Fell in love with Port Fairy. I'd been there a lot of times before, but never as, I don't know, as I suppose a professional photographer. I use the inverted commas because I now make money from my photography. This was the last night we were there, actually, and there'd been some cracking sunsets, but this night in particular, I had this shot in mind. This is taken with the drone. I am standing in this photo. It's a bit of a Where's Wally, but I am hidden in the silhouette of the trees to the right.
Okay.
You can see there's a bit of a path, and yes. I'm in amongst that little silhouette there. Pretty much right there, Cam. You might see me there. No, I'm in the shadows a bit too much, but and this is the Griffiths Island Lighthouse at Port Fairy. And it just presents the best subject because you can access it, obviously with a drone, you can access it from all angles. But even if you don't have a drone, you can pop down there. Sunrise, I would highly recommend. This clearly is sunset. And it's exactly how I drew it up in my mind. I wanted the lighthouse to be silhouetted against the sun. And I did raise the shadows ever so slightly on the lighthouse just to bring out that white color of the lighthouse. I didn't want it just to be a pure silhouette. It's the cutest little lighthouse. It's all white. It's got a little door on the other side as well.
That's very cool.
So
how do you manage shooting? Because you're not meant to shoot in the sun, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. The rules, right? Rules.
Yeah. So how did you manage? Did you underexpose that heavily, or
no? Not really.
Is it 4 exposures in a drop sky or something like that? Or?
No, it is a raw file. So basically, it's just one raw file. But what I did was it was all about positioning of the drone here. So I found if I went just that little bit too high and lost the top of the lighthouse away from the sun. Yeah. So if it was sort of lined up with the horizon more, it just didn't make for such a, I don't know, how can I put this? It was really hard to separate. It was just a bit, it looked like just an atomic bomb going off on the horizon. I think by putting the sun right behind the lighthouse like that. It sort of it gave it a bit more. It properly silhouetted just the top of the lighthouse. I was actually at one point trying to go a little lower, but all my alarms were going off saying I was going to get too close to the surface of the water there. So really, when you're flying the drone, I haven't had enough experience from the drone to know how to change exposure on the fly, so to speak. I was that concerned about getting wiped out by a wave. In this case, it was just literally, so you can do tap autofocus and tap exposure. So what I was doing was tapping right on my screen, right on the top of that lighthouse there, and it was correcting the exposure for me to give me, because it knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
And this is how good DJI drones are. The software is so good at being able to get the exposure right for me.
Yeah.
So as I say, it allowed me to concentrate more on the composition and also the positioning of the drone and keeping it out of danger.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I like about it as well. I'll grab the right mouse. I'm using two mouses. I like how there's like a bit of sea spray all behind there, like in the hills. That's really cool. And like you can sort of see the silhouette in the front here and then the trees, but you've just got this sort of bit of depth and layering going on in there, which I really think is pretty cool as well. So
that was, I mean, I think that was a bonus because it was certainly not intentional. The pure intention of this photo was to silhouette it against the sunset, and I got really lucky with the sunset. So
and you got the nice little shadow of the lighthouse in the water too, which is cool.
I think that's what I like about it too, is the shadow. And it's weird because you'd think, oh, it's a reflection, but it's a shadow across the water, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I'm happy with that. All right, let's get off. Let's move on to one of yours.
Any questions about that one? I don't know. I would have thought.
Haven't seen any. Maybe we've lost the chat.
Ah, there we go.
No.
Jesse's going to critique you. I love it.
Good photo. Personally, I would crop in closer to the lighthouse and lose a bit of the water and space. I thought about doing that too, but I think there's a certain grandeur about the scene. Like it's a big landscape, and I think I like that. I have got another couple of shots where we cropped in. Cam is now editing away feverishly to try and do just that, which I really like. Yeah, it could also work as a vertical crop too, which would look pretty cool.
Don't mind us. This is going to be fun. We're just going to critique the hell out of each other's shots.
We're just going to live edit, and you'll notice that I do not have access to this. So Cam is in his element where I can't play.
No. All right, we'll go on to the next one. It's cool. I like it. And like I said, the drones are really cool these days. I don't use mine anywhere near enough because 99% of Tasmania is no fly zones. But,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It is good fun to get them up there. And like you said, you're not super high. You're only probably almost the height of that lighthouse or a bit lower, where you just get a different view on things. And it's really quite nice. So
little update on the subs. Apparently we have jumped a few subscribers. So at least 4 or 5 subs have joined us, which is great.
Really? That's handy.
Yeah.
Very good.
Ooh, look at you go. I like
look
this.
At me go. Yeah, now I've lost my bloody mouse on this computer now. What's going on? I cannot win on this thing anyway. No, so this is a shot. So we're talking about 2022 as a year. This is a shot that I took earlier in the year on the South Coast track, which for those in Tassie who might know, or anyone who's been to Tassie, if you go as far down south as you can, sort of opposite to Port Arthur, there's a track that runs all the way around to Melaleuca, which is a little airstrip in the southwest of Tassie. So it's an 8-day walk, an 8-day hike. And a friend of mine, Aaron, and I were really keen to do this, which we planned and got organised to do. It was super duper hot the whole trip. There was not much water along the way. There's lots of little sections where we had to sort of boil up water or treat water. But this is a place called Granite Beach, and it's got all these beautiful granite rocks all over the beach. And we had a rest day there, and there's behind the other side of here there is a waterfall that drops off into the ocean pretty much, and you can have a shower and stuff like that. It's really beautiful. But the night we got there, we went for a bit of a walk up the beach, and I've always liked to see these little patterns in the sand, and this just happened to be. There's probably some footsteps going along up here somewhere, but the patterns around the rocks here were really cool. So it was a beautiful night, nice summery night. So I thought, well, it'd be crazy not to get the camera out and take a few snaps. So it was really good. It was a really lovely way to finish a hard day's walk. So it was good fun.
Awesome, love it. Very, very cool.
It
just looks. I think I like the shot. It feels soft, but I know it's not. Does that make sense? And is it the sand that's covering the rocks that sort of make it have a soft feel about it?
There is a bit of sand on it.
There you go.
Yeah, there is a bit of sort of. I have taken a little bit of the sharpness out of here, just to, like you said, just to make it look a bit softer with that sand and the rocks and the smoothness of the rocks to sort of help with that. But it was just a lovely scene. I must admit though, walking along those, like, you've actually got to walk from the other end of the beach all the way along this beach. There's no sand up there.
Right, so you had to battle across those rocks to get to this shot.
Yeah, all the ones that are covered in sand and stuff like that. So that wasn't the greatest bit of fun.
No.
But yeah, it was good. So it was really enjoyable.
Awesome.
And that was shot on a 21mm lens, so not an ultra wide lens. And when I edited it, I did actually add a little bit of that sort of magenta to the sky. It was sort of bluish anyway. And the sun had just dropped behind that little bit there. So a little bit of trickery.
You heard it here first, people. Cam drops in his skies. Okay.
I didn't drop a sky in. I just changed the color temperature. So yeah. Nice.
Now move on to the next one that I've dropped a sky in. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, next one. This is
no sky. There you go. So that's handy.
Yeah, that always works.
Yeah. So Hopetoun Falls in the wonderful Otway Ranges. So this is another photo that's close to my heart because it's close to my own backyard. This is one of those places where it's actually a little bit treacherous to go to at sunrise and sunset, purely because there's 14 trillion stairs that go straight down and then 14 trillion stairs that go straight back up again, and they're invariably wet. So it's good on the knees, this one, to get down to from the car park. Mel, I know, went there when he dropped in and saw me a few months back, so he'd be familiar with this. A couple of things. First of all, it's a magic place. As soon as you round the bend and see this view, it just stops you in your tracks. It's a magnificent waterfall, this place. And as you can see, the creek flows directly back towards you. So the composition basically makes itself.
Yeah.
I just can't get enough of this place. I've got currently a shot that I did a few years ago up on the back wall of my shop here in Ocean Grove of this very waterfall, and it's getting a lot of attention. So great spot. And the reason I like this is because I did use an ND filter on this to get the exposure for the waterfall, but it didn't kill off a few spots of sunlight that were bursting through, which I really like. And the day I did this one, it was really calm wind-wise, whereas prior times I've been there, we were getting a lot of movement in the ferns as well. So it was, which some people didn't like, but I kind of like it. But yeah, in this case, there was no need to do two exposures and layer them or anything like that. Just worked
no
fine.
blending, no blending required.
No blending required in this one. So and look, a magic place, because every time I go there, it's always at a different time of year and the light is just slightly different. You can also get, if you are keen to get here at sunrise, you get quite often the mist in the valley over the waterfall as well, which makes for a spectacular scene. So question is, Hopetoun Falls in the Otway Ranges.
Why were you not over the barrier and up further with a red jacket on or a yellow jacket?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I didn't have a red jacket handy, Cam. Sorry. Yeah. I do have a blue jacket, but
that'll do. Blue will do. But it is good to see you stay behind the barrier.
Well, in this particular case,
many people go to that spot and don't. And I've been there a couple of times, and you can definitely see tracks up the left-hand side of the river.
Look,
where people have jumped over, and
I know, and unfortunately, it hasn't really been discouraged by parks because it's very, very easy. You just walk, you just literally go through the rail, and you can see the track. Like there is literally still, it looks like a track, so it doesn't. And
maybe the track used to go there.
Well, there are signs up that please do not. Jump the barrier, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't stop. One interesting thing about this spot, you might remember, Cam, when you were there, and I know Mel probably would too. So when you set up your tripod, you've got to set it up on the viewing platform where everyone is, of course. And then you have to wait for the viewing platform to go, not because they're getting in your shot, but it's because they're bumping the viewing platform.
Yes,
and you want to keep it. That's right, and you want to keep it as solid as possible. So
that is a problem. We a friend and I just went down to Bruny Island a couple of days ago, and there's a lookout over the neck, and that's also on a platform. And if you're there when people are there and you're trying to do nice steady shots, it can bump you around a bit. So yeah, definitely.
Cool. So that's that one.
Very nice.
And now we've got another one coming in from Mr. Blake. Oh, hello.
Yeah. This one was pretty cool. So this is actually, this is funny. This is actually where you land to take off from that walk from the previous spot. So yeah, this is actually the inlet, Melaleuca Inlet, which is down near the southwest corner of Tassie. We do a 3-day camping, or it's a glamping thing. We fly in, you catch a boat along that river to sort of out to where that big mountain is, and there's these beautiful glamping cabins in the forest down there. We stay there 3 days. But this is a really cool shot on the way out of there, I think it was, as we headed home. And just the light was just incredible down there. You just get these beautiful sort of long afternoon lights with all these beautiful lights and warm colors, and the river used was a nice sort of leading line and stuff like that. But this is out of a plane actually on the way out. So shooting through a window, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, it's always a good spot down there to get down, and you could spend days and days and days exploring this whole region and get some incredible shots. But yeah, this year's been a pretty good one down in the southwest. I've spent a bit of time down there, and this one's no exception. So
can I ask a little favor?
Of course.
Are you able to zoom up the background a little bit of in those hills in the distance? Because how's the layering?
Oh, hang on.
That's
You ask. That's
right. Yeah. Your mouse is working. Yeah. So
so there's,
look at that. Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just endless mountains. So when you get a bit higher in the plane, like it's just endless mountains all the way up. And
yeah,
this is Mount Rugby. You can actually climb this. We don't climb this on our trip, but our little camp is just down in this little section here. So every morning you get out, and you've got this big mountain in front of you. We go out in a boat. This is Bathurst Harbour, which is usually very still. It's quite shallow. So you get some beautiful reflections of all the mountains and stuff like that. It's a stunning spot.
It is really, a gorgeous spot. And you got lucky with the cloud cover as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's got all these button grass plains, and they just have this sort of orangey, yellowy feel to them. So they also help, the photograph punch out a bit as well. So yeah, a really cool spot. If you ever get the chance to come down to Tassie, Par Avion, who's the company we go with, they actually do a day trip down there for about $600. You can fly down there, you get fed all day, you get taken out in the boat all day, and it's a really beautiful flight in and beautiful flight out, and yeah, it's good fun. So if you get the chance, definitely do that as well.
Brilliant. We've got a few comments coming in. Mel says, "Wow."
Yes.
We've got Jesse, lovely shot. Love the mountains in the background with the haze. That's where my eye was led to as well.
Yeah.
Tassie is spectacular. That goes without saying. Great trip. That one. Just lovely, even with the rain.
Yes.
By the way, we have
Kay has been on that trip. She came brought her sister down, and we had a mixture of weather, but it was still lovely though. Yeah.
We have quite a few people who are watching live at the moment. So hello, everyone. If you didn't catch us at the start, we had a few technical difficulties when, for some strange reason, Tasmania went off the grid for a few minutes, but we got back.
Yeah, my computer went off the grid. It's still flickering in front of me. It's doing all these weird things.
Well, we're live and enjoying our time live on the Down South Photo Show. So thanks everyone for joining in. Shall we flick to another image?
Wow, you ask, you get. Look at that.
Bang.
This looks like it's almost off an iPhone.
I got to tell you something about this photo.
It's not real.
It's completely straight out of camera, so there's no editing whatsoever in this image. This is a file that I'm really proud of, and I don't know what it is about it that I like. I think first of all, it's because it's shot on a big zoom. So this is using the Sigma 150 to 600. Same lens that Ash uses got for sale at the moment, by the way. If you're looking, I don't know, Ash, you're going to have to comment below whether you've still got your lens available for sale. We might sell it for you. We might take a small commission as well. But anyway, so again, like my sunset background that I've got here, this is my own beach. This is taken from pretty much the same spot, and looking out towards Barwon Heads Bluff. I really enjoy now more than ever using the big zoom lens for shooting landscape. It just gives you so much more scope, and I really enjoy just looking through the thing and just making compositions on the fly. We were lucky, we had some pretty good conditions. The surf was rolling through and that sort of stuff, and you can see the back of the waves. I don't know if you can zoom in a bit at the waves just under the sun there. See the light just kissing the back of the waves there, and it just adds that extra little bit of outline. Now, there were a couple of surfers out on this night as well, and I did manage to get a couple of shots, and I posted a couple to Facebook, and the guys got in touch with me who they saw them up on Facebook and got a copy, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, there is something about shooting waves and backlit waves, and you got all that beautiful color through there.
Yeah, and once again, broken all the rules, shooting directly into the sunset, just like the lighthouse photo, the silhouette. Yeah, the dynamic range that you get now from digital is so much better than it's ever been before. So you can pull back so many details if you want to in the foreground. The sun here it was slightly filtered through that cloud, so it wasn't full on sun. That might have helped me. Well, it did clearly help me a lot. A good old natural filter that was supplied by Mother Nature. So how's that?
Laura's just put up a comment that her 11-year-old child is watching and has clearly watched too many episodes because they said, yeah, right, that's definitely dropped in skies. That's brilliant.
Love it.
If we can influence a generation of children coming through of photographers who can pick a dropped in sky like that, I think we're doing our bit for society.
We now have in excess of 40 people who have joined us live, which is pretty cool. So
that'd be all of Ocean Grove, wouldn't it?
It'd be. I don't know if there's any people in India watching yet, but I'm sure they're going to come on pretty soon.
It'll go from 40 to 3,000.
So again, and I'm sorry to harping on because I know there was a lot of people that missed out, but for the people that are coming to the workshop, we're going to be on that beach. We won't be there at sunset. We're going to go down to Barwon Heads at sunset, but you will be able to create some similar compositions if the conditions are similar. But hey, if they're not, I'm sure we've got something we can work with.
So far, you've had 2 shots that are pointing directly into the sun. There's a trend there.
I know. And my background, which is technically not, but
yeah, that's right. And if that waterfall had a sun, you'd probably shoot it to that too.
Yeah, exactly. It's my thing. Maybe I'd just point due west. I don't know.
Yeah.
And last but not least,
this is probably my favorite image of the year I've taken, and I was lucky enough to share this with some customers up at Cradle Mountain. But we just hit the jackpot with a morning shot.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, it was just incredibly. And this is one of those shots where, I can talk as much crap about how this photo was taken, what I did to edit it, where I was to shoot it, what camera I used, what sensor. Or you could go through the whole kit and caboodle of what you used. But anyone with a camera, even an iPhone, could have got this shot out of the chopper door when we flew past it. Yes, you got to be in a chopper to get it. But this is early morning sunrise at Cradle Mountain. So this is on our way out on the way out of the chopper. So we did a lap out, we did anti-clockwise around those mountains. But the conditions were just absolutely perfect. And all the customers got the shot. We all got shots of this amazing landscape that's there. And the chopper pilot was an absolute legend as well, where he actually lined the chopper up so we get that reflection of Cradle Mountain in the in the lake as well. We said, how can we stop here? And he just sort of pulled the chopper up. We hovered there for a second, took some shots, and kept going. But it's one of those ones. I think it's a really good lesson in that. Yes, you got to be at the right place at the right time, and if you're lucky enough to be able to get in a chopper ride, then so be it. But even on the ground down at that lake, or if you'd got up early and walked up to one of those sort of plateaus there, you would have got the same sort of feel and same sort of shot. So it's one of those lessons where really it is about timing and being at the right place at the right time. And if any advice I give to any people that come on workshops and stuff like that is, don't be a lazy photographer. If you can get up early and go somewhere, or get yourself prepared and be somewhere the night before, or whatever it might be, then most times Mother Nature is going to reward you with some sort of beautiful light or some sort of moody atmosphere. So I think this is my favorite shot. I don't think it's the most technically hard shot I did or the hardest shot I got to, but I think it's just the one I like the nicest because I like Cradle Mountain and the location. But we just got 20 minutes circular shots around that whole area with beautiful morning light. So
I think what blows my mind about this photo is the reflection of Cradle in the lake. Now, how far? That's Dove Lake, right?
That's Dove Lake, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So how far from front to back? How big is that lake? Like, what's the distance from the foreshore closest to us to the back there?
Probably 1 kilometre and a bit.
Yeah, so it's amazing, isn't it? How much it's like, and it looks like a tiny little pond.
Yeah,
that is a big lake.
Yeah, although you can see down there, I don't know if you can, there's a shipping container there. They've been doing
there you go. There's a bit of scale for us, yeah.
Yeah, so the shipping container's there. But if you walk Dove Lake around there, it's a 4.5, I think, kilometre loop. So I'm going to say it's 1 kilometre or so. So yeah, and then out, the other thing as well, like you've got Barn Bluff out the back, which is another stunning mountain that you're going to see, Brendan, when we go for a walk.
Yes.
We're going to camp just down the bottom here on that first night.
That's night one. Now, does our walk take us right by Cradle Mountain there?
Our walk, if you want to, we start down here in the fog.
Lovely.
And we're going to walk up this section here.
Yep.
We're going to walk up to this lake, which is Crater Lake.
Oh, beautiful.
And then we're going to walk along this ridgeline. You can actually see the track along the top of that little ridge there.
You can too.
And then we're going to walk up Marion's Lookout, which is up to here. And then we're going to scoot across sort of around the back end of here. And we'll then go along this ridge and we drop off this ridge down to the valley below.
Wonderful.
So yeah, it's a good walk. But this shot, for those who know Tassie as well, that's Frenchman's Cap. It's another beautiful mountain in the background. You've also got just the side of Mount Ossa, the highest mountain in Tassie, just there as well.
They're just all names that I've definitely heard of. Like, you've got so many icons in one photo there.
Yeah, and like I said, I was just, when I saw even just on the back of the camera, I just went, okay, that's not going to need much help, and that just looks incredible.
But it's the snow, right? I mean, to me, it's literally the icing on that photo. It is.
Yeah, it's the icing on the cake. And it's funny though, we took off, and it was -4 degrees on the helipad, and we got up above the valley, and it was 7 degrees.
Yeah.
So we had the doors off the chopper, and we were all rugged up to the hilt, thinking, "Oh my God, it's going to be incredibly cold." And we got up there, we're like, "Oh, it's not too bad at all. It's actually a lot warmer up here than what we thought it was going to be." So
you had a temperature inversion.
We did, yeah, absolutely. So we're pretty happy with that. So yeah, that's our 3 shots each. I'll stop sharing that now. And we are.
We're back.
We're back.
I look really bright all of a sudden. I'm just going to. Yeah. There we go.
We're back.
That's probably because my backlight is now. I don't know. By the way, while you were talking, Ash chimed in and said he'd sold his lens. So sorry, you don't get an Ash Hughes original lens, people. Sorry.
Do we get commission or not?
No. And Kev Morse says, "Hey Cam, remember that Stanley Nut sunrise from the beach that you missed due to sleeping in?"
I don't remember that. I was sleeping in. I think that might have been.
To bring that up, did he?
I don't think I was on that trip, to be honest. I think he's making it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Anne says, "Amazed you can see Frenchman's Cap from Cradle Mountain."
Yeah. It is crazy, and you can actually see it when you're hiking as well. So on a clear day, but
it'd be a long way between those two places.
As the crow flies, not crazy, but as you walk, yes. And I saw Jeff said that he loves the blizzard there in the old Marion's Lookout. So Jeff came on the overland track with me. Was that this year? Oh, that might have been this year as well. I don't know. It was, I think. And we got stuck. That's been a big year. And we got, I think it might have been a year before. I can't remember. But we got stuck on Marion's, and it was blowing an absolute gale sideways. And it wasn't pleasant for most of that first day, but they all got through. It was character building, that trip, is what we call it.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
Awesome. That was good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed looking at your photos, Cam, as always.
Likewise.
It was good stuff. Let's talk a little bit about, again, this is a recap of 2022. So if you had to pick one session that you were out taking photos for the year, could you pinpoint a favorite?
Yeah, I probably could. I think the Flinders Ranges trips I've done this year.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, did you just? Oh, you know me too well. The Flinders Ranges,
beautiful spot to take photos.
It is great. And the 2 trips we did there were really incredible. We had good groups for both trips. The people were really good fun. The first trip we had really good weather. The second trip we had a bit of interesting weather where we had a few storms and stuff like that. With the aerial flights we did were really good fun. So yeah, I think that was probably my favorite shooting trips. But even like just the other night doing this Aurora behind me with Jamie and we went up there, and just the fact that it was not a workshop and I was just shooting for my own enjoyment, and it was really balmy. It was one of those nights where you were happy to stay out in the outdoors. That was really lovely as well. So I'm generally pretty happy with anytime I'm shooting photos. So, but yeah, I'd say the Flinders was a pretty good one for me, and that chopper flight was also pretty incredible. The Franklin River was really good as well this year. We had some interesting. The company was a bit ordinary with Tom, but the rest of it was pretty good.
I was hoping you weren't going to bring him up again, but anyway.
Yeah, I can't help it. He rang me.
He must be watching. Surely he's
No,
watching.
no, there's no room for his
Come on,
ego.
I'm amazed he's not commenting. It's only surely he must be. He'd be there somewhere. He
No,
must be. I'm scrolling through. Thanks for all the comments, by the way, people. As I say, we like to keep this as interactive as possible. So keep them coming. We won't get a chance to read them all out, but it's always good to see the comments that are coming through. I think for me, I keep going back to Port Fairy. I think I had a really positive experience with my photography at Port Fairy, and it kind of, like it does every time for me, because I do get really busy with the shops and selling photography and printing photography for other people, as well as selling a few of mine as well. But I get too tied up in that, and unfortunately the camera gear doesn't see the light of day nearly as much as I would like it to. So when I do get that chance to actually get out there and reconnect with my photography, reconnect with an environment that I haven't, or connect with an environment I haven't shot before, it really spins my wheels. It happened the same, and I mention this every 2 episodes, but at Mungo last year, it gave me that vibe again where, hey, I do really love this, and we talk a lot about mental health, and that really does help the mental health when I'm. You're snowed under, you're doing heaps of work. It's great. I mean, I work in a job that I love. I'm very, very lucky to do that, but it's behind the camera that I love the most. So when you get blessed with a sunset like this, or you go to Port Fairy and just get the best shooting conditions ever. We had thunderstorms, we had fog, we had sunrises. Bring a tear to your eye. It was absolutely amazing. So I think for me, if I had to pick one, there was another session that I did where I just got the gear out and walked along this beach here, and then got myself up around the bluff there onto 13th Beach, just over the other side of the bluff there. And there was a lot of surfers right on sunset out having a great time. The conditions were fantastic. I had a really good session there as well. Again, just letting the compositions come, which is great. You kind of feel like you're in the zone. You know what I'm talking about, Cam?
Yeah, I have some of those moments as well where it's actually when you sort of said it almost brings a tear to your eye. There is some moments where you are shooting and really Mother Nature just does, like, she just gives you a sucker punch. You're like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And then like half the time you don't even remember you got a camera in your hand. You're just looking at it like through your own eyes and going, wow. And like you said, with mental health, it so totally clears your mind. And I think if everyone pull back our layers as to why we pick up a camera and go out and enjoy it, I reckon 99% of people would say that it makes them feel better. It clears their mind. It takes the troubles away, or it gets them away from life for a moment. And I think if that's something we can do, that's harmless to everyone else and easy to do and easy to get access to, then I think it's a great thing. But yeah, there's I know exactly what you mean. There's moments where you're just like, this is just perfect.
Yeah, it's great. And I love it as well when you see it all the way through. So you go out, you get the thrill of the great shot, you nail it. And luckily for me, I get to print it, put it on the wall, and sell it, which is the icing on the icing, but mainly just seeing a printed photo on the wall, because as a little segue, Mark has chimed in. G'day, Mark. Gents, I enjoyed your print episode. Cam and Brendan, do you sell many prints, Brendan, in your store, Cam in your gallery, or as a result of your workshops? What you want to answer that one, Cam?
I already did.
You did?
Yeah. So it's funny, Mark. Mark asked that question because I was talking to another Mark today, who's the guy that owns the space where our gallery is in Richmond, and just talking again. We have a meeting every couple of weeks just to sort of figure out what we're going to do with that gallery, and we turn over a little bit of work through that gallery and online. I reckon I would sell maybe 3 or 4 prints a month, and some of them are small prints, some of them are big prints, some are canvases, whatever. But I would like to be selling a lot more, and not necessarily like the financial benefit of that would be lovely, but like it comes back to this conversation that I keep having with myself and others that, what is the point of doing all these photographs if we're just going to put them on hard drives and they're not going to see the light of day? There's no better feeling, and sorry to bring his name up again, but there's no better feeling, as what Tom said, that, someone spending their hard-earned cash on putting a photo up in their house. Even at all levels of photography, it's a beautiful feeling when someone wants to actually do that. So I would like to sell more, purely for the fact that it'd be a beautiful thing for people to have your art hanging in their house or office or even on the back of the toilet door, it doesn't matter as long as it's hanging somewhere. And I'm sure you're the same with your work as well. Like there's a financial benefit clearly, but yeah.
Oh, so, and I have a store, so I'm lucky enough to be able to fill the walls. I have to fill the walls with something, so I might as well fill them with beautiful photos of Ocean Grove and Bowen Heads and Point Lonsdale. And I'm very fortunate that particularly this time of year, at the moment, I'm probably selling. I'm averaging probably 3 or 4 of my photos a day, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great.
In various sizes. Some days we sell more, some days we sell less. But as an example, I had the biggest payday ever on one of my prints just recently that I sold for a rather large sum, which I was wrapped with, and it was a big framed canvas hanging on the back wall of my shop, and came up really well. So I was absolutely wrapped with that. But it's Christmas time, so we get sort of lucky at this time of year because people are looking for that sort of stuff. But to answer your question, Mark, I do manage to move quite a few photos out of my gallery, which is very, very cool. And I think part of it's got to do, and we talked about this in the print episode, Cam. Part of it's got to do with the emotional purchase because they're here in Ocean Grove, and a lot of people grew up here on their summer holidays out of Melbourne. So they want to have the photo of the beach like this one behind me hanging on their wall in their office or in their lounge room. So I'm pretty lucky like that.
Yeah, that's right. And just what you said there, I think we also touched on in that episode, like Bright, Victoria is really special for me because of my family background living up there. And, I'd be more inclined to buy something from Bright or a photographer in Bright if there was a beautiful shot of Mount Buffalo or whatever it might be, purely for the emotional attachment to it. The place is something special to me. So it's interesting. I'm like you, I'm sure you'd like to sell more prints next year, but I think it's getting harder to sell prints. But I think, like you touched on in that episode, that emotional attachment might be a bit of a key driver for people buying prints. And I'd love to, now we've got people commenting, I'd also love to hear what people, what drives them to buy a print from someone, if it's supporting the artist or the location or sentimental value, whatever it might be.
I'm also so we've relocated the shop this year. So this was a big thing that happened for me in 2022 was I had my shop in one spot for 9 years. Believe me, this is linked into what we're talking about, Cam. I haven't just gone completely off the rails. I saw that look on your face. And we relocated the shop. But all I did was basically take the old shop as it was set up and plonked it straight in the new space because the space was pretty much the same, which is great and has worked to this point. But I am very, very keen on remodeling the new space and setting it up better to display photos, better lighting for one. Definitely needs better lighting, better window displays, that sort of stuff, a better counter, better displays behind the counters and that sort of stuff. So, because Mark commented that the display of my work, he's obviously been into the store and he said it looks great. Well, Mark, hopefully you ain't seen nothing yet. If I can get my act together, which will happen sort of, let's see, can't do it in January, too busy. February, I'm going away. Who knows?
Have you got a calendar out by any chance?
My calendar sold out today.
Oh, what a shame!
Would you believe it?
My calendar sold out a couple of days ago. Well, I've got two copies left, and they're for my 95-year-old grandmother and my mum, I think, maybe. Yeah,
good. Yeah, no, I was wrapped.
So I was going to say, my mum got the shits with my calendar last year.
Did she?
Because it didn't have the locations of the photos written in the corner. I'm like, Mum, it's Tasmania. Like, what else do you need to know?
Right. That's right. It's not a massive place. I mean, it's Tasmania. That's near enough.
Exactly. So
no, I was chuffed because it's the first time I've ever produced a calendar and it was very well received. Yeah. And I was happy that I don't have any calendars left on January 1st because then it means I've got to discount them.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing as well. Once you get past January 1, can you still sell 2021 calendars?
You got a couple?
I've still got a few at home.
Doesn't it take something ridiculous like eventually the calendar's right again and you just have to change the year?
Just scrub it out until 2048.
Yeah, that's right. It might be a few years down the track, but you'll still be able to use it again for sure.
Hey, Les just asked how my book sales are going. Well, we actually got some really good news today about the book. A couple of bits of news actually. So one, they are dropping on the docks in Melbourne in the first week of January. So that's awesome. So we should be able to get them to people before the middle of January with any luck. And for those that have already bought the book, you're in for a surprise because the price has actually dropped. So we actually got a better price off the publisher than we actually expected. So we've been able to drop the price by $20. So anyone that's ordered a book by me, I'm not going to keep your extra $20. I'm not going to go buy a beer on your behalf. I'll be in touch with everyone that's pre-ordered the book and let them know. But so the book sales are going well. I've pre-saled about 30 odd books, which is great. But yeah, we'll be in touch with everyone to let them know that there's going to be a nice little refund for them. So, which Tom and I were talking today. We're like, hey, we can sell it a bit cheaper. We can still make the money we want to make, and we can still sell it to people, and everyone's happy. So
Mel wants a 2021 calendar.
I'll bring one, Mel, to the workshop in January if you like. They're actually an A3 one. They're quite a big one.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
But he's in Myrtleford, so everything's a couple of years behind up that way, isn't it?
Well, that's true. It is still 20. It's still 2020 in Myrtleford.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Mel. Batten down the hatches. You got some shitstorm coming your way, buddy.
Yeah, I maybe buy some masks and
toilet paper
and some horse medicine. So it's also good to see that people are just commenting on how they buy prints and stuff. So some support the photographer, some like the art based on emotion. If it screams "Take me home," which is great. So yeah, there's a couple of key factors in regards to why people will buy and not buy. So
while we've got a minute, I want to talk about your camera.
Oh, my camera.
We hinted at it before, but let's let everyone know what you've got.
So for those who know me well enough, so anyone that comes on a workshop or follows me around the traps will know I've bought and sold a couple of systems over the last couple of years, multiple times, mainly because I'm an idiot, really. So I bought, long story short, when I did my first book, I used the proceeds for that to go and buy the Fuji medium format centered camera, which I loved. And I was using that for a while. Then it was getting a bit hard to hike with because it's a lot more of a heavier system I'm used to. So then I sold that and I bought the Leica M10R, which is the not the recent model, but the one before that. And I was using that for a while and I was loving that. But then I found, because it's all manual focus, I was missing some shots. And, I was happy to set up tripod and take my time, but if there was something going on, it wouldn't sort of capture it for me. So I went back and then bought the Fuji GFX 100 megapixel medium format. That got too heavy again. I just loved it, but it was just too much for the carrying for my liking. So then I sold that and bought another Leica M10R. So I was just selling and buying these two same cameras. Anyway, I've sold the Fuji again and I've now bought the Leica M10.
There we go.
So it's the M11 actually. So it's the newest one. I'm not going to sell this. I'm determined to keep this. And I've got my other Olympus system, which I'll take mostly everywhere as well. But this little small compact system can go anywhere with you. But this is
what is the lens on the front there?
I actually got this lens today in the mail. This is a 90mm f2.
How excitement.
Yeah, it's excitement, all right. So that's just come in the mail today. It's secondhand from Japan. But they are a beautiful camera. They're a bit expensive, but I've pretty much just recycled the funds going back in out of these cameras. So cameras, depending on which ones you buy, can sometimes hold their value. So I'm determined to keep this one. I really like them. I think their lenses are beautiful. The files out of them are really nice. It's got a little hand grip on it at the moment, small as well. Like this would be maybe a kilo if you're lucky. So yeah, that's my new little toy to myself for my 2022. Yeah,
very, very nice.
So yeah, that's what I've got. I feel a bit guilty already. I've seen someone's name pop up and we haven't mentioned her in the last 3 minutes. So g'day, Chelsea.
Oh, sorry. Really? Hello, Chelsea. How are you?
Sorry, we didn't realize you were in the chat. We forgot to mention. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Pleased to be gentle with us.
You get struck off the Christmas card list for 2023.
We do. So that's my little camera. And what I do like about them as well is that they are all manual. So manual focus, manual exposure. You got to dial everything in every time, and it just slows you down. Like you've just really got to think of it. It's the closest experience I've had to shooting film with a digital camera, because you've just got to check everything and double check focus and all that kind of stuff multiple times. So yeah, that's why I do like it. So
no, it looks like a good tool for landscape, as you say, because you're going to have time in landscape to be able to do that. But yeah, just to make you think.
That shot there is almost straight out of camera.
Very cool.
Yeah, after you like it. So yeah,
nice. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. So that was my gear. What else? What else are we going to talk about?
So I was going to briefly talk about, well, do have a tip of the week.
Do we? Oh, we do. Yeah,
well,
I do.
We don't often do tip of the week live. This is really quick. Cam, would you like to say that one or?
Yeah, absolutely. So don't forget to just tighten your nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Okay. So next moving on. Oh, sorry.
Tighten your nuts on your tripod. Yes. So your little screws and stuff. So the other night when I was out shooting this Aurora shot behind me, mine doesn't have the screw legs, it's got little clip legs that you pull out and stuff like that. And out came a whole tripod leg on top of this mountain in practically middle of the night. And I'm like, right, so the little actually starhead screw and nut that holds that to it completely come loose somewhere, and out it came. So I'm like, right, okay, well, how am I going to put this together? Head torch on, trying to jam it back together and then click it back into place. But when I got home the next morning, I got up and all the nuts on my tripod were just super loose. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that's a heat thing from going from hot to cold or whatever it might be, or stuff like that. So be sure to make sure you check your gear and make sure everything's clean and tight and tidy, and it doesn't hurt to give your gear a bit of a clean and a once over, maybe once a month. So
there is a tool that comes with every tripod in the box that a lot of people sort of just put aside, but that should find its way into your camera bag.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not in my camera bag. It's a bit like that extra memory card that sits in my glove box. Never. That's one thing. Hang on. Here, this is the one reason I bought this camera.
Yes.
It's got 64 gig of built-in memory.
There you go.
You don't actually need a memory card.
Well, I wonder what SanDisk think of that.
Yeah, so I thought that's a winner for me.
No, absolutely. 64 gig. What's that, 2 photos?
Yeah, about that.
But it does have a memory card slot, right?
It has a memory card slot as well, but if you forget your memory card, you've got 64 gig to play with.
Well, it's like the DJI drones now. They have like a terabyte of onboard storage.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is. And if you have the right smart controller, you've got that built into the controller as well.
That wouldn't be you hanging on to the controller, would it? The smart controller.
It wouldn't be me, not at all.
No. Yeah, so that's my tip. Just make sure you check your gear and give those nuts a nice big tightening.
I was going to talk a bit on a live show about advancements in gear and stuff, but to be perfectly honest, at the moment, I don't know that there's been any sort of quantum leaps in gear for a while. It just seems to be the same old. Yeah. Autofocus has got a little bit faster, and the megapixel race is pretty much over now because we all know that, you don't need 48 trillion pixels. I think I've used the word trillion 3 times tonight on the live show.
Yeah, you've used some interesting words tonight.
Thank you. You used some choice words when you went off air before. That was good. So we won't talk too much about that. But if you have got any questions, now we wanted to do a DeerCam live.
Yes, yeah, I've just put it out there for people. If anyone's got a DeerCam question,
attaboy.
Ask me anything.
Okay, now does that have to be photographically related?
Preferably, but
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Yeah.
And
this is Chelsea is not allowed to enter this competition because she knows too much about me to ask questions.
Yeah, exactly. So
if you've got a DeerCam question, or if there's something that just does your head in that you're not sure about, feel free to type it in there. We might do like a rapid round of questions, answers. People
a burst mode. Now, do you realize that DeerCam was launched in episode 1 of the Down South Photo Show?
Yes, it
was.
And
it has lasted 65 episodes, which is pretty impressive. Yet, okay, granted, we didn't do a DeerCam every week because we didn't always get one, but for the most part, I'd say of the 65 episodes, we've probably done 50 plus DeerCams, right?
Yeah, we have. And it's getting a bit disappointing though, I must admit. I am getting a little bit peeved off with our guests and followers and stuff like that. Because they keep putting you in the DeerCam question as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a Dear Brendan. So Chelsea has backspaces questions.
Yeah. No. She was obviously typing a question and mentioning herself too much. So she's deleted that.
Yeah. Go on, Chelsea. Ask a question.
No, she doesn't want to. One other segment that we tried to introduce early days was the photography horror stories. That has since sort of fallen off the planet. But if you have a photography horror story, we'd like to hear it. Makes for interesting listening. Also, while we're on the topic, and because it's the end of the year, we're keen to know what you guys want to hear us talk about. We're always want to sort of keep our finger on the pulse of topics and stuff that you want us to talk about on the show. So if you've got any suggestions, by all means, hit us up in the comments section. And a question from Anne Moore, is Brimley near Ocean Grove? It certainly is. It is literally the next town on past Barwon Head. So Brimley is right between Barwon Heads and Torquay. So Brimley's a tiny little hamlet, I'd call it. So there you go, Anne. That was a Dear Brendan question, by the way. I don't think Cam would have known where Brimley was, but
I actually thought it might have been a bit of a joke. I thought Anne might have been trying to set you up or something, but I wasn't sure. I've never heard of Brimley.
No. And Andrew Thompson, Dear Cam, how do you find the OM system 150 to 400 millimeter lens?
Well, it's funny you say that because I haven't bought it. No, I really enjoyed it. Actually, it was. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, I guess, because I don't really do super long telephoto, and obviously being landscape predominantly, it's not easy to carry that around as easy as other lenses. But I actually found it a really nice lens. I was super impressed with the quality of image coming out of it. Like I haven't used too many super telephoto lenses from Nikon or Canon or Sony, but it was damn sharp all the way to the edges. It was lighter than I expected. It was pretty fast as well with its autofocus. So if Andrew is into his sports photography or your wildlife photography, then definitely I would look. If you're looking to invest big money into a massive lens like that, then I would say it's definitely worth it. But it was good. It was good fun. I had it and I thought, as with a lot of things, I get sent some lenses and cameras and stuff to play with here and there, and usually you get them, and the supplier just forgets about them for a few months, and all of a sudden you get these emails saying, "Hey, Cam, that lens we got, we need it back." Yeah, cool, no worries.
Yeah,
that wasn't the case with this lens. This lens was on like a stopwatch. It was like, okay, you've got it from here to here, go, and that's all you've got left to do. So, so it was definitely requested to come back at a rate of knots. So. But yeah, it was lovely, really good. Is it worth $11,000-$12,000? Maybe not. It depends what you use.
Yeah, that's a hefty price tag, isn't it? I mean, clearly, I'm not having a dig at Olympus here. Like the most lenses in that realm are, at least that, if not, as we know, double that from our friends at Nikon and Canon.
Yeah.
So I think you'd have to be pretty keen. To want to get that lens, particularly, it's fairly limited in its use as well. Like you don't want to, you're not going to hike the overland track carrying that thing.
No, there's not many. There's not many in Australia at all, and there is a bit of a backlog for them. So, I think if you're dead keen and you're a serious photographer, not necessarily professional, but if you're just a serious photographer who was right into it, it may be worth the investment. The one thing I would say is if you were able to buy one and get your hands on one, I would still think you get your money back on it a couple of years later. So if that's anything to go by. There's a few more questions coming through, isn't there? Chelsea said macro. Polo? I don't know.
That's not a question, Chelsea. You just now use your words properly.
Yeah,
and
Chelsea does
type us a proper question.
Chelsea does struggle to put words together in any sort of English and literature is not her strong point. But that's
Oscar. Okay. Oscar has a question. Dear Cam, how do you know when an aurora is going to happen, provided it's a clear night? Now, we get asked this all the time. I get asked this in the shop. Oh, aurora, that's a great photo. Is it going to be one tonight?
Yeah, it is. I'll put the switch on. It's a really good question, Oscar. And you being down here in Tassie, probably at more at an advantage than most because we're that far south, which helps. There is apps you can get. There's like the Aurora Forecast app, and there's a couple of Aurora apps you can get. There's a couple of groups on Facebook. Aurora Australis Tasmania is a good one to follow. And they also have an alerts page. So on Facebook, if you join that one, I think it's called Alerts Now, Aurora Australis. Yes. It'll show you on people are out there live posting to that group, so you'll know when it's going off. So yeah, it's really hard. And it is easy to get sucked into them because they do look beautiful when you do take the shots of them, so that you can get sucked into chasing them and being up all hours of the night. Unfortunately for you, Oscar, your parents are probably going to hate my next part of this question, is that you need to be up for a lot of hours. So you need to probably get out there. For example, we went to this location and we got there especially in summer, it doesn't get dark until almost 11 o'clock. We were up until 2 or 3 in the morning. So you've got to be willing to be out and about. But where you live, Oscar, you could definitely go down the road and shoot south and probably get some colors in your camera. But the easiest thing to do is probably look at those Facebook groups, check the skies. And usually the Facebook groups also have a bit of a lead up to it. Like people will get a bit excited a few days beforehand. But if you follow those groups, that's probably the easiest way to figure out when to go down the road and grab a shot.
I like it. Now we're going to have one more deer cam, and I'm picking it. So
really? There's a few there, isn't there?
There's a few come through, but we can't be on here all night. So
I'm happy to keep you on.
From Mark, deer cam, what focal length do you use the most?
I would use probably either. I'll give you a range. So probably between 18 and 21 mil wide angle.
No, we want one focal length here. We don't want no ranges. We need the thing.
21 mil.
21 mil. Now 21 mil OM system, 21 mil or 21 mil.
Well, this is the problem I have because I shoot on a couple of different things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said 18 to 21, because 18 on the Fuji, 21 on the Leica, and about 18 on the OM as well. So I don't like to go much wider than 18. I think going wider, there's a lot of 16s and 14s out there. I think going any wider, you sort of start to get a little bit perspective warping and things like that. So I try and stay as close to 18 to 21 as I can. But having said that, I reckon the second most common focal length I use would be about 200 mil. So I shoot a lot of long lenses into landscapes and into those mountain ranges and getting the layering and stuff like that. So
just to show you, this is us live here.
Yes.
I was just looking on my phone to see. There's been so much interaction tonight, so thank you everyone for that. Yeah. And thank you for the deer cam questions as well. Does anyone care what focal length I use the most?
No, it's a deer cam. So.
It's not called deer, Brendan. That's right.
No, it's not. So I see Ash has asked a question about what are unicorn. What I don't know what that means. Does that mean like the Holy Grails?
Deer cam and Brendan. I'm in the parentheses. What are unicorn destinations, locations, subjects to shoot? Does he mean stuff that doesn't? Well, he's about to head off around Australia, so I think he's fishing here for locations.
Yeah. Or is he asking about Tassie locations because he wants to get some good shots?
Could be.
Every corner down here.
Absolutely. And do you know what I reckon? Avoid the national parks because that's where everyone goes.
Yeah, when you come to Tassie,
I wasn't talking about Tassie there, by the way. I've been there twice. I'm no expert on Tassie.
Well, when you come to Tassie, you don't have to. Yeah, it might be unique, not unicorn. When you come to Tassie, you don't have to go to all the national parks. They're good to visit, but there is so many places in between. The West Coast is incredible. The East Coast is lovely. South Coast is all really cool. Mount Field out to Strathgordon's an amazing drive. So there's just so many locations. It's endless.
Okay. Well, he has now clarified. What is your dream spot to shoot anywhere on the planet?
Anywhere on the planet. Antarctica for me at the moment.
Oh, that'd be a ripper. Absolutely. That'd be awesome.
That's where
I've got a bit of a hankering for Norfolk Island at the moment. I don't know why. I think I've watched recently some YouTube clips about Norfolk, which I'd like to see. I definitely want to do more of NZ.
If you would like to see us at Norfolk Island,
yeah, that's right. We can run a workshop for the 2 people that live there.
Yeah, you pay for us to go, and we'll go. Yes, there is unicorns in Narnia.
Yes, that's right.
So yeah, no, Antarctica for me would be pretty cool. Also, I'm actually getting a bit of an itchy finger to go somewhere like Scotland or Ireland.
Do you know? It's funny you should say that because the Faroe Islands
that's another one.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hotbed sort of place. Like everyone talks about the Faroe Islands a lot, so it might be already done to death, but that does look absolutely bloody incredible. Yeah, look, it's a great planet we live on. So
yeah, it's the only one. It's the only one we live on.
But there's just so much, like so much. You could go, heaps of different places. I don't profess to know everything about Victoria yet. I mean, I haven't even tapped into the high country yet.
You're missing out, mate. You need to get out more. Your kids are old. Your kids are old enough now. You can just go anywhere you like.
Just about. We're not far off actually being able to just sneak off. Kids are at the right age for me to be able to do that, regardless of whether it's business related. But yeah.
And don't forget with Tassie, also the north coast of Tassie. Apparently, Les just picked me up on that. Oh, having said that though, there's a couple of nice spots along the north coast, but probably not as much as the west or east, I don't think.
No, I would tend to agree with you there.
The northwest of Tassie is fantastic.
Northwest, yes.
And the northeast has got some beautiful forests. But the due north coast between sort of Devonport and Lonnie, there's not heaps of stuff to shoot there. So,
gee, you're going to ruffle a few feathers there, mate.
Yeah.
There's some good golf courses there, though.
There are some fantastic golf
courses. We weren't going to mention golf. Sorry.
No. I better. Speaking of golf, I better actually maybe play around before I come up there.
Swear jar.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Well, I think we're getting pretty close to ending the live show, unless there's something that you particularly want to.
No, look, I think I'll just cap up my 2022 with a big thanks to everyone that's been involved, whether or not you've been a customer, a friend, a business advisor, application writer, wife, family, whatever it might be. We've had a pretty big year in the Tassie Photography Workshops era. We've been winning awards, which are great. We
didn't even mention the big feather in the cap that came in 2022.
Yeah, it's just over there on the shelf. And we've done lots of workshops. We've had a really, really busy year. So thank you to everyone that's come along and supported everything that we do. Hopefully we get to see a heap of these people next month, which would be great at the workshops, and then throughout 2023. It's hard to even say 2023, isn't it? It's ridiculous. But hopefully everyone has a really safe sort of festive time and New Year's Eve time, and stay safe, and hopefully get their cameras out and take some happy snaps. And when are we coming back? When's our first show back? Do we know that?
We haven't
touched on that.
We haven't sort of made a date, but
do we want to keep going, or we're just going to stop doing this show?
I think it's inevitable that the Down South Photo Show will rock on into 2023. We don't. I think a little hiatus would do us wonders. A little week off, I think. We'll have a little break from all this sort of stuff. So we'll be probably back in the second or third week of January. I think definitely a show after we do our first ever Down South Photo Show workshops, which would be pretty cool. Yeah. And I'd just like to echo what Cam said. Thanks to everyone who's joined us this year on the Down South Photo Show. It's been brilliant. As I said, I love growing this channel organically. We're not all about overly going hard on promotion and trying to build subscribers, and which are half of them are bots anyways. We'd rather have real people with real passion for photography and landscape photography, real opinions as well. So we really do like the interaction, the feedback that we get from these live shows. They're always great. Definitely looking forward to 2023. Definitely looking forward to doing at least 2 workshops that we know of together, Cam. So
I can't wait for
them. First for us.
They're going to be a riot. I think they're going to be good fun.
I think they are going to be a lot of fun. I'm quite looking forward to it. I also think they're going to be quite productive.
I'm hoping it. If anything, it gives people a bit of a spark to go out and actually, get some. Sometimes you need a bit of not a kick in the bum, but sometimes you need a bit of that creative persuasion to get out and do things, and that can be just hanging out with other like-minded people where everyone sort of talks about the same thing and gets excited about it. And
absolutely.
So if we can get that out of the workshops, that'd be awesome.
And we got a couple of comments. Now, I don't know that they were that tongue in cheek. Actually, there was actually genuine interest from people that would like us to run these workshops in their regions. Now that's something we're definitely open to, and open for discussions on whether or not it can happen in 2023 or the year after or beyond. Obviously, we'll see how the first ones go in January. But
if people rock up.
Well, we'll see what the feedback's like. We'll see what the chemistry's like between Cam and I and working together on this sort of stuff. Obviously, it's going to be awesome, and we'll and we'll take it on board. So
it'd be like the old Camera House days.
Yeah, pretty much. So not a lot of work will get done.
No, we'll go. There's the beach. We'll see you later.
Yeah. We're over here at the Bar and Ed's Hotel.
Yeah, that's it.
You just text us if you need anything.
Just knock on the window when you're ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. So, super looking forward to that. Looking forward to a, I don't know. Everyone say like you turn over a new year, it's like a clean slate. I don't roll like that. I think it's going to be a good year. I'm looking forward to 23.
Yeah. Anne's asked if Tom will join any of the workshops. So I would suggest not.
Hopefully not.
Spare a thought for me though. I'm coming back. I'm coming back to Hobart on the 25th of January on the Spirit of Tasmania. and Tom's booked a trip on the Spirit of Tasmania on the same day, and it's a day sail. So I'm not I'm not in a cabin. I can't sleep my way through him.
Can you hide in your car?
No, you're not even allowed to do that. I'll have the kids with me though. That's going to be fun.
Good. Yeah. Uncle Tom. Yes.
Here you go, Tom. I'm going to the bar. You can you can look after kids. But hopefully, I'm a bit like you. 20 New Year's resolutions are good, but it is nice just to roll into the next year and be excited about what's going to happen. And I think based on the last couple of years we've had, it can only get better, I'd imagine, unless the world goes to crap or something. So yeah.
Well, we didn't predict it 2 years ago, but if it wasn't for the pandemic, the Down South Photo Show wouldn't exist. I think that's safe to say.
That's true. True.
All right. To you, Cam, thanks for a big year.
Thanks, mate.
You've been awesome. Well. Congratulations on all your successes this year as well. It's
likewise.
Been a big building year for Tas Photo Workshops and Cam Blake Photography. So
I'm looking forward to coming into the new shop in a month.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen the new shop. I'm looking forward to your 50th in January, Brendan.
Oh, yeah, had to bring it up, didn't you?
We won't be back before then, so maybe
yes, folks, you heard it here first. I am turning 50 in 7 days' time.
Wow. And in this time next week, you'll be 50.
I will be, yes. I'll be raising the bat. So
what if you could get a piece of camera equipment, within budget for your 50th birthday party, or birthday, what would you want?
Oh God, that's a tough one. Put me on the spot there. Like a M11.
Right, I'll wrap it up for you. It might be something else with M11 written on the front of it. But,
yeah, that's right. Couldn't tell you. I don't know. I have no idea. But probably a new piece of glass or something like that. But and Les is right. January are the best birthdays. Us Capricorns, we stick together.
My mum's in January. My mum's 70th. That's one of the reasons we're coming up there. So
there we go. So a 50th, a 70th,
and a trip home with Tom.
Oh dear.
There's two good things. There's two things at least I'll enjoy.
Yes. Looking forward to seeing you in mid-Jan, Cam.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
I think we might do a sign-off, eh?
Yeah, I think so. I think thank you everyone for tuning in.
Absolutely. Thanks for the comments, guys. We love it. It's been fantastic, and I guess that's it from us.
Yeah, I got to remember how to end these live shows. So
we'll see you next year on the Down.